Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am gonna be talking about basically just going through a little bit some relationship scenarios and like some sense of like what would you do. So basically I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on these different relationship scenarios, I guess for some people this can maybe look at you know this as advice also, because you know everyone, sometimes you need, like, some people could be going through these different situations that I'm going to talk about, and they may need another point of view of someone, you know, talking about it and, you know, going about it and stuff. So I'm going to go through some different like I said, some different relationship scenarios and give you guys my opinion and my thoughts of how I react and how I would go through with the situation, and give you guys just a little glimpse of that. Okay, so starting off with the dating scenarios, the first one is, what would you do if a guy you really like took 12 hours to reply but was active on social media? Okay, so my thoughts on that one is, well, I can say that has happened to me before, where I've texted someone, and obviously someone I really liked, and it took them a while to reply to me. It didn't take 12 hours, I'll say, but it took them a while to reply to me, but I saw they were active on social media and like liking and posting on their story and stuff like that. So my reaction to that would be, I mean, obviously a girl's first thought is like, are you even really interested in me at that point if you're taking 12 hours to reply to me but you can go be active on social media? Because obviously at that point, you know, in the back of your mind you're thinking, well, if they're on their phone for one, and they've seen the notification that you've messaged them if they're on social media at that point. So I definitely look at that as, like, me, like, I definitely note that, like, okay, you're taking this long to reply, and then like in the back of my head I'm like thinking, well, do you actually really like me as much as you're saying, or you definitely are talking to other people also at that point too, is what I'm thinking. Okay, so for the next one is, what would you do if your boyfriend still talks to his ex every day? Okay, so I don't know, I have mixed feelings about someone talking to their ex. I feel like because I could say, like, for some people, obviously not every person ends up on bad terms with an ex, so sometimes they obviously still like text each other here and there, or like follow each other on social media and stuff like that. But texting your ex every day, now that I would feel uncomfortable with, because at that point I'm like, what are y'all talking about every single day where you have to message your ex every day? Me personally, I definitely would like want to know like what exactly you're talking about, and it would honestly make me feel uncomfortable. That, and then also at the same time too, is like, you're still so comfortable with your ex to talk to them every day. I personally would not be okay with that, and at that point it would make me feel like you still have feelings for that person, or you still want to be with that person if you have that much energy to text them every day. But yeah, so I would not be okay with that at all. Okay, so for the next question we have is, what would you do if someone asked you on a date but never text first? So I feel like I've also been in like this similar situation too, is I don't know why, but I feel like from my experiences of just like in the past, I kind of feed off of someone's energy and I kind of relay that back to them. So like, for example, like if I'm always having to text you first, I'm kind of like, you know, like in the back of my head I'm like, okay, like, well, I'm always texting you first, and then at that point then I'll just I will stop texting first and then wait for you to text me at that point. And I'm now kind of at the point where like I don't even text first. Like I'm gonna be so honest, because I've just had so many experiences where I'm just like, I don't text first at all anymore. So if someone asked me on a date and never texted first, honestly, I don't even know how to like, I would even like go about that, because I just feel like, yeah, they asked me on a date, but like at that point too, I'd be like, I don't even know if I would go with them, because like you don't even text me first, and I'm always have to text you first. Like it don't sit right with me to do that. I don't know, I feel like I would just have to be, I don't know, because part of me would be like, no, I wouldn't, go on the date, or no, I wouldn't, because that person just text me first. But then at the same point too, I'm thinking like, I think it just depends on the person, and if I actually do really like this person. But yeah, so I don't know, I would have mixed feelings about that scenario. Okay, so for our next scenario, it is, what would you do if the person you're dating says they're not in a relationship but acts like your partner? Okay, so obviously, like in this generation of the world, we have like different, guess you can say, stages that we all are now in before you even get to the point of dating or like being boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, you have the talking stage, you have the situation stage, you have the, you're not, I guess you're dating, but you're not officially boyfriend and girlfriend, and then you're boyfriend and girlfriend. I feel like there's so many different stages that people like now have now, but it's like, I don't even know what the point is of all of them. But if someone were to tell me that we're not in a relationship but you act like my partner, at that point it's like why are you saying you're not in a relationship but you're acting like we're boyfriend and girlfriend at that point? And my point would be like, are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Because if we are, then at that point too, it's like, why are you saying you're not in a relationship when we literally are doing relationship stuff? That would be my thing too. And to me, at that point, that would be a red flag for me, because if we're doing relationship stuff but you're saying you're not in a relationship, and then also too, I'll be like, well, are you like interested in other people but you're doing this relationship stuff with me? Like, if you're like, relationship stuff would be like going on dates together, hanging out with each other, being around each other's family, and like doing other stuff too, but like at that point that would be a red flag for me. Like I would not be okay with it. I definitely would not be okay with that at all. So for the next scenario is, what would you do if your significant what would you do if your partner didn't post you on social media? Okay, here's my thing about that. So well, for me, like I would say, like if I'm in a relationship and obviously we're like we're like in the beginning of the couple months, I'm not gonna go right away posting on social media, but I'm gonna let it be known that I'm not single, right? But then if you get to the point where you're like really in the relationship, like a 5 or 6 months, then yeah, I'm gonna start posting you on my social media. And obviously if you get to that point, like it's gonna be known that we're in a relationship together. And if my partner didn't do that, I would be like, kind of like, it would give me a red flag and be like, okay, why aren't you posting me? Like, do you not want people to know we're dating or in a relationship together? And that would be another thing too, is like, are you trying to hide that we're in a relationship too? Like, I would not be okay with that personally. Like, I would want to be in a relationship, I would want my partner to post me, and like, it's not even to say be like, oh, like brag, like, oh, we're together, we're dating. No, but it's like people know, yeah, we're dating. And at that point, it's also giving like you want to seem single, not in a relationship. Like, that is a red flag for me if my partner did not post me at all on his social media. Okay, so for the next scenario is, what would you do if your partner wanted your phone password? So like, obviously if I'm dating this person, in a relationship with this person, me personally, I have nothing to hide, so I would be okay with giving them my phone password, and I would be fine with them going through my phone. I have no problems with that. But I would also, with that, I would want the same thing. Like, I would want their phone password, and I would want that too. Like, if they want my phone password, then well, I want your phone password. Like, as being in a relationship or dating each other, like I would have nothing to hide, so I would give up my phone password. Like, I wouldn't honestly care, but I would want yours too for that situation. So like, but that's my thought process on that. I know some people's is probably different, and I know some people are like, oh, going through phones, like, or having each other's passwords, that's like toxic or whatever. But just for me, like, at that point, me being in a relationship, I would have nothing to hide, so I honestly wouldn't care. But I would want my partner's phone password. Okay, so now we're gonna go into more deeper questions, I guess you guys can say, for scenarios. We're gonna go into some red flag scenarios, and we'll see how these go. Okay, so what would you do if they only texted you late at night? So if my partner or someone I'm talking to only texted me late at night, I would be like, so you basically go the whole day without texting me, and then you want to text me late at night. My thing is, like, one, they're either entertaining someone else throughout the day and then wait to text you at night, or two, they're seeing someone else throughout the day, or three, they're trying to hide that you're dating or talking to each other at that point. And that is a big red flag that I would not be okay with, and I cannot deal with at all. And I would definitely always have to say something, bring it up, and I would not be okay with it. And that definitely would make me want to break it off with them, whether we're talking or dating in general. Because I cannot do that. The next one is, what would you do if they called you crazy every time you brought up your feelings? I feel like, I think in this generation, it's really hard for people to really express how they feel in just in their relationships, or whether it be you're talking, getting to know each other, or actual relationship. It's hard for people to be able to openly express how they feel. So me personally, I feel like if I'm expressing my feelings, how I feel, and I'm being very vulnerable with my partner, and they call me crazy, I would not be okay with that. Because I'm obviously being very, like I said, vulnerable with you, and opening up to you at that point and telling you how I feel, and you're calling me crazy. I would not be okay with that. That's something I cannot deal with. One thing I will say, for me, is when I'm in a relationship with someone, I need them to be able to be mature enough to sit down and have a conversation of us both being openly vulnerable with each other and talk about how our feelings, and having a mature conversation in that way. So I would not be okay with that at all. Someone calling me crazy because I'm expressing how I feel, oh no. Okay, so now we're gonna go into some hard scenario questions. What I mean by that is some hard decisions. So these are questions that some people actually really do go through relationships, and these are questions that can be situations that could really impact your relationship, or the thought of this would be oh, this is a deal breaker for you in your relationship. So starting off with the first scenario, it is, what would you stay if you found out they cheated on you years ago? I feel like, for me personally, cheating is a big no for me. It's a big deal breaker for me. I do not like cheating at all. Just how someone wouldn't like it happening to themselves, I do not want that on me. So whether that be texting someone cheating or physically cheating, I am cutting ties with that person. I don't care what the case may be. I don't care if I'm in love with that person. I don't care if we've been together for over a year, or what the case may be. I'm breaking it off with that person at that point, because I can never go back to someone that cheated on me. And if you cheated on me years ago, and you kept it a secret for that long, and then I find out you did it, then at that point it's the anger is more it's more of a big thing now, because then it's you went on for so long, you lied about it, went on for so long, played in my face. I'm gonna feel like you played in my face all these years, and made it seem like we had such a good relationship, and then I find out you cheated on me. So at that point, I would then, you know, definitely have some resentment towards you. I honestly couldn't look at you the same. And me personally, I don't know if I could stay in the relationship at that point, because cheating is like a deal breaker for me. But that's just me, you know. Okay, so for the next question, it is, would you move to another state for someone you've only been dating for 6 months? Okay, I'm gonna say me personally, long distance relationships in general are hard. And to even date somebody out of like my state of, you know, is hard. I don't know if I would ever consider doing that. I've never been in the position of doing that. Me personally, I would say like if I've been dating someone for 6 months, I would then know if at that point I would know if I want a future with them. I would know if I like see something long term with them. To move in with them, I don't know if I would necessarily move to another state to be with them, like moving in together. I don't know if I would do that, because I don't know if I would do that, because I feel like I don't know how I feel. I think I have mixed feelings about that. Me personally, I don't know. I don't think I would move to another state. I think I would consider the pros and cons of like moving to another state for someone I've been dating for 6 months. So like, you know, I would consider like, okay, how far am I moving away from my family, and like all that all of that all together. Because then at the same time too, it's like me moving to another state to be with them, I'm like moving my whole life over there to wherever they are. So I would just like have a lot to consider. Like I said, I would just like consider the pros and cons. But me personally, I feel like 6 months is such a short amount of time that I personally would not move to another state to be with someone I'm dating. I just think at that point I would just continue long distance, because I just feel like that's too soon for me personally. But I don't know, obviously some other people have done stuff differently. I know a lot of, you know, people within their dating of 6 months are ready to make that move to another state to be with that person they're with. But yeah, just me personally, I wouldn't do that. And so for the next one is, would you stay if your family didn't approve of them? I feel like for me, because I'm very family oriented, I'm very close with my family. My family opinion of my partner is very important to me. But I will say, I'm not gonna be, obviously if my parents, my family has an opinion of like my partner, of like a negative opinion, I'm obviously gonna like listen to it and consider it. But at the end of the day, if like the partner I'm with, if I'm really in love with that person, I really see a future with that person, like, and that person is treating me good, you know, I am going to make the choice myself because I'm the one in the relationship. And obviously at the end of the day, I'm an adult where I can make my own choices. I will make the choice that's whatever is best for me. I'm not going to disregard like my family if they don't approve of them. Obviously I might feel some type of way if they don't. And I've had situations in my like family where like certain people didn't like certain people my family were dating, and you know, we've all lived life now, people that have had kids and stuff like that, you know, it's just life. So but at that point now, it's like people love my family. In my family, people love each other at the end of the day, and so I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't break up with that person like if my parents didn't like them. So my opinion on that is I would, you know, like I said, consider my family's thoughts and, you know, why they don't approve of them. At the end of the day, I'm gonna make the decision myself to stay with them or not. But I'm not gonna break up with them or not be with them because of my parents don't approve of them. So that's my thoughts on that. So for the next like set of questions we have is social media addiction. So these are going to be like scenarios of like involving social media basically. So for the first question is, what would you do if your partner followed hundreds of Instagram models? If I find out my partner follows a whole bunch of models on Instagram, I would obviously bring it up to them and be like, you know, obviously ask like why they follow that many girls, and like be like, you know, what's the point of them following that many? Like obviously ask, I would be like, you know, can you unfollow them? Obviously at that point we're in a relationship, because I just feel like if any guy like follows so many women, it's like, why, when you have your girlfriend and the person you're with, you're dating? So I would definitely bring that to attention, and obviously I would be like, it's kind of weird, you know. But I just feel like I would just, you know, be mature about it and have a conversation with them and ask them, you know, to delete those, unfollow them, you know. And I would honestly have to go from there with the situation, because it's different people have so many different views that their responses are obviously going to be different. But yeah, that's, you know, that's how I just feel about it. Okay, so for the next question is, would you ask your partner to unfollow someone who makes you feel uncomfortable? So if, let's say a girl comments under my partner's post like hard eyes or like complimenting him, you know, and stuff like that, and they're making me feel uncomfortable, I definitely, yes, would go up to my partner and be like, hey, can you unfollow this person because they're making me feel this way and they're doing this, this, and this. I obviously would, you know, be mature about it and have a conversation with them, you know, because it's always something that shouldn't be made a bigger situation than what it is, obviously. And I would just, you know, do that. And I would, you know, just, you know, ask him to unfollow her. And obviously most men would unfollow the girl, but you know, some guys are going to make it a bigger problem than what it is. But yeah, but that's how I feel about it in the situation, you know. Because at the end of the day, you should feel very secure in your relationship, and your partner should want you to feel very secure. So he should be able to follow that person with no problem if they make you feel uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, they should want you to feel most comfortable in your relationship with them. But yeah, now we're gonna go into some like juicy questions, juicy questions, juicy scenarios. Okay, these are like big juicy scenarios. Okay, first one is, would you date your friend's ex? So I feel like for me personally, because I have a lot of like, how do you say, like, obviously, like, if my friend dated so and so shows interest in me and wanting to date me, I'm not gonna date that person, or I'm not gonna talk to the person. I feel like I have a lot of like, I don't know, what do you call it, girl code, boy code, like what they call it, girl code, boy code. I don't even know what you call that. But like me personally, I'm not gonna date or talk to anyone that my friends have once dated or talked to. That's just me, because I have a lot of respect for them at the end of the day, and that's just me. That's just the person that I am. I know sometimes some people wouldn't do the same thing to me that happened to me, or whatever the case may be, but that is just me, because I just have a lot of respect for them. Like, I wouldn't date nobody that is my friend's ex, or I wouldn't talk to anyone on that level of getting to know them if I knew they once dated or talked to my friends. But that's just me, you know. I know some people have different opinions on that. So for the next question we have is, would you go through your partner's phone if you had a gut feeling? Me personally, I feel like your gut feeling is never wrong. Or even if your gut feeling about certain situations that you kind of think of in your head are never wrong. So if, me personally, if I had a gut feeling to go through my partner's phone, I would do it. I wouldn't, I would say, girls, my advice to you is, you ever have that gut feeling about either going through your man's phone, or you like just thought of a situation in your head, or like you just like saw it happen to someone else and you have that gut feeling like maybe that's happening to me, I would bring it up to them, because more of the time it comes out to being true. So I would personally always believe your gut feeling, because it's never wrong. And I'm not, in like me personally in relationships, I'm not the type of person to like go through my partner's phone, like, hey, give me your phone, let me go through it, you know. I'm not that type of person. But if I have that gut feeling, oh yeah, I'm going through that phone. For the next question, it is would you stay with someone who said they needed a break? Me personally, I'm gonna be so honest, like, I do not do breaks. I'm not the type of person to breaks. Like, if we're in a relationship and you're saying, hey, I need a break, at that point we just need a breakup, because what are we doing a break for? Like, I'll be the person be like, let's just break up at that point. Like, I don't do breaks. I'm not a person who is a fan of breaks or wants to do breaks. So when my partner came up to me like, hey, let's take a break or something, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna be like, there's no point of doing a break. If you want that, at that point I'm just be like, let's just break up. But you know, that's my opinion of it. I know some people do breaks and then they come back together and they, you know, they obviously are good and stuff, but that's just, that's me. I wouldn't do breaks at all. So that is gonna be it for this video. Me giving you guys some what would you do dating scenarios, and then also like me giving you guys my opinion of what I would do if I was in those situations, and also too a little bit of advice for the girlies on here. But you know, let me know in the comments below, what would you do? Be honest, guys, be honest. What would you do if you were in some of these situations? And tell me, what do you guys think, if I'm overreacting or I'm not overreacting enough in some of these scenarios of me responding to these questions? Let me know in the comments below. I want to know your guys' opinions about it. And let me know if any of those scenarios that I did say that weren't technically in the red flag scenarios I put, do you think some of those are red flags? Let me know. I want to know your guys' opinions on that as well. And also I want to know your guys' opinions on, in some of these scenarios for dating, would you guys stay or would you leave if this happened to you? I want to know your input on that as well. But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and comment below any video ideas you have, and also let me know you guys' thoughts on, you know, this video as well. That's it for this video. Bye guys.